Manchester United in advanced talks with Marseille over £30 million deal for Mason Greenwood. Shock Saudi club apparently set to submit a bid for Marcus Rashford. Erik ten Hag's backroom staff is set to be changed up with 2 new people joining it, and Benny McCarthy, Mitchell van der Gaag and Steve McLaren all set to leave. These are just some of the stories we will be discussing on this evening's show. But before we get into that, please smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 200 likes on this evening's show. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We're live every single day at 8:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. Only 50% of people who watch these videos are subscribed. So if you're not one of those people, please do make sure to subscribe for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Honestly, this is going to be one of the most packed shows I think I've ever done. So much to talk about. So it's going to be quite a long one today. It probably will be a bit longer than the usuals, but let's try and rattle through it as quickly as I can. Obviously, make sure you get all your comments in. I will read all of your comments, have your say on everything we discuss on the show this evening. So let's start the show off by talking about Jadon Sancho. So the headline this evening is that apparently Jadon Sancho is set to return to Manchester United for pre-season training. Now, the reason for this is because effectively he hasn't been sold yet, okay? This doesn't mean he's going to be back in the team. This doesn't mean that he's going to be here next season. It just means that at the moment, Manchester United don't know what to do with him. They've had lots of offers from lots of clubs, but they're all below the £40 million asking price that they've set on him. And to be completely honest, like, we need to recoup as much of the money we spent on him as possible. We spent £73 million on Jadon Sancho. Remember that. Even 40 million is a pretty embarrassing deal, really. That's nearly half of what we paid only, 2-3 seasons ago. But yeah, so Jadon Sancho will be back in training on July the 8th, which is a week on Monday. There is currently interest from Juventus. There's interest from Napoli. There's obviously interest from Borussia Dortmund. There are lots of clubs interested in him, but what it seems to be is that these clubs know that we're desperate. These clubs know that Manchester United want to move on Jadon Sancho. So effectively what they're trying to do is a loan deal. And it's just completely pointless. It is. Apparently Saudi clubs are interested in Jadon Sancho, but apparently he doesn't want to go there. It's a complete mess, to be honest with you. He is one of the players that Manchester United are desperate to sell this summer. They're absolutely desperate to get rid of Jadon Sancho. They don't want him back at the club, but they can't find anybody to buy him. You know, and the people who do want him, as I say, are only willing to take him on a loan. So we're left in a really difficult position. We've got a player who we paid £73 million for, who's on £250,000 a week, which isn't welcome. He isn't welcome back at Manchester United. The fans don't want him back. The manager doesn't want him back. And Ineos don't want him back. But we don't know what to do with him. So it's a complete mess, to be honest with you. But I do think we need to stand firm. I do think Manchester United need to make sure that we don't give in here. Jadon Sancho disrespected the club, he disrespected the fans, and he disrespected the manager. I'm sure the manager had some part to play in all of this. You know, nobody's 100% innocent. But to call out your manager on social media is embarrassing, to be honest with you. And I don't really want to talk about him anymore. He just makes me frustrated. He's not an example of a footballer. He's your modern day footballer who thinks he's better than he is more cares about his brand and his image than he does about actually putting an effort on the pitch. And he's had a terrible attitude since he's been at Manchester United. He had a terrible attitude at Man City, a terrible attitude at other clubs as well for England at the international level. And I want nothing more than to rub our hands with him and just say goodbye. But right, let's move on from that though. I want to talk a bit about Matthijs de Ligt. So at the moment, Manchester United are obviously pursuing a deal for Jarrad Branthwaite, but there is a major issue with this deal. Everton aren't going to accept less than 70 million. That's what I've been told. It's been widely reported. Everton are standing firm on their £70 million valuation, which, as I've said many times before, £70 million for Jarrad Branthwaite is an absolute joke. There is no way on earth he is worth £70 million, not in a million years. So as a result of this, the news this evening coming out from Plettigol, who is obviously Florian Plettenberg on Twitter, Sky Sports Germany journalist, very good journalist. He is reporting that apparently Manchester United remain interested in signing Matthijs de Ligt. He is a strong target for this summer. He says Erik ten Hag is still a great admirer of de Ligt, who can leave Bayern Munich this summer with a suitable offer. No offer from Manchester United yet. Concrete talks between Bayern Munich and de Ligt will take place after the Euros. It says price valuation for de Ligt is around 50 million euros. I mean, 50 million euros is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like, he's currently sat on the bench for Bayern Munich, and Eric Dyer is getting picked ahead of him. De Ligt is a decent player, okay? When he was at Ajax under Erik ten Hag, he was one of the best young centre-backs in world football. And Bayern Munich were really, really happy with that deal. You know, we tried to sign him. He ended up going to Bayern Munich. They paid a ridiculous amount of money for him, though. They paid 67 million euros for Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich paid 67 million euros to Juventus for Matthijs de Ligt. Now, the big issue I have with Matthijs de Ligt is his injury record. He was injured way too much last season, and I just think that he's too similar to Maguire. He's slow. I just don't think he's what we need. That's the thing for me. Like, if you look at his games from last season, right, he missed 20 games last season through injury, and most of them were the same injury. It was a knee ligament tear that kept coming back. And if you look at his injuries over literally the last 4 or 5 years, every single season he's missed about 20 games, which at the age of 24 is a concern. I'm sorry, that is a massive, massive concern. People say Martinez is injury prone. Before Martinez joined Manchester United, I think he'd only missed 1 professional game in his whole career, and he's 26, right? Matthijs de Ligt, as I just said, has missed 20 games per season for the last 4 seasons, and he's only 24 years of age. So it just concerns me a bit. And the thing that I don't like about Matthijs de Ligt as well is his wages. He's on 350k a week at Bayern Munich, which is ridiculous. That would put him as the highest earner at Manchester United. Like, we definitely need to avoid him at all costs. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys think. Would you like to see Matthijs de Ligt at Manchester United? Let me know in the comment section below. We've got over 350 people watching the show live now, which is absolutely incredible. Big ups to everybody who is watching live. Please do me one small favour and hit the like button. Let's try and see 200 likes on this evening's show. I mean, there's more than 300 people watching, so if everybody who's watching likes, we will hit that target. And we are now only 1 subscriber away from 24,300. So if anybody who's watching today isn't subscribed, please do go and hit that subscribe button right now, and let's hit that next target. Hopefully soon we'll be on 25,000. That would be amazing, but one step at a time. Okay, moving on from Matthijs de Ligt. I will come to the comment section in a minute as well, so make sure you get your comments in. I will come and read out some of them in a couple of minutes' time. Let's move over to Erik ten Hag then, shall we? Because there's been a lot of news surrounding the manager in the last couple of hours. So the first bit of story came out from Fabrizio Romano. He is reporting that it is all set for Erik ten Hag's deal to be announced at Manchester United. He says the agreement is almost done and set to be sealed between all parties. Amazing news. Great, great news. Couldn't be happier. I think Erik ten Hag deserves another season. I think with the right team behind him, I think we have got a very good manager there. I think with the right transfers, the right outgoings, the right mentality and environment, I think we can achieve great things with Erik ten Hag. In his first 2 seasons, he's won 2 trophies. The first manager to do that since Sir Alex Ferguson. The first manager to win any trophy in 6 years at Manchester United. Ollie was here for 4 years and won nothing. So I could not be happier with Erik ten Hag getting the new contract. But one of the things that was causing a lot of controversy in the fan base was this news about him being stripped of his player veto power. I personally don't think that's going to happen, because if you look at the players that we're being linked to, right, most of the players we're linked to still have links to Erik ten Hag. Joshua Zirkzee, Netherlands. Matthijs de Ligt, Netherlands. Like, there are quite a few players that we're linked to this summer who have a really, really strong link to Erik ten Hag. I think that going forward, it will be more of a collaborative effort where Erik ten Hag will have a voice, but his voice won't be as powerful as it was before. I think, so Dave Brailsford, Omar Barada, what's his name? Dan Ashworth. They'll be kind of the main people who suggest the players, and Erik ten Hag will have a minor say in it. And I think that's correct. He should not be the one out there having to scout players. That's not his job. His job is to coach the players, not to be finding the next talent in South America. But as part of this, it looks like Mitchell van der Gaag, Steve McLaren, and Benny McCarthy will be leaving Manchester United. This has been reported earlier on today. Mitchell van der Gaag is currently the assistant manager at Manchester United. He is apparently looking to go and become a first-team manager somewhere else. He's already managed in Netherlands as an actual manager, so it looks like he will be moving on. All 3 of those people's contracts expire in 3 days. So Manchester United now have a choice. Either they give all of these people new contracts, Steve McLaren, Benny McCarthy, and Mitchell van der Gaag, or they move them on. And I actually think moving them on is the correct decision, to be honest with you. Like, none of them particularly inspire me. I don't think they're like the next wave of great football minds, if that makes sense. I don't know what you guys think about that, but like when Steve McLaren and Benny McCarthy and Mitchell van der Gaag were like announced as Erik ten Hag's core team, I wasn't like, wow, this is amazing. I was a little bit like, McLaren's been around for God knows how long. Benny McCarthy, I know he's done stuff in South Africa, and Mitchell van der Gaag I'd never heard of, to be honest with you. I know he was at Ajax as the assistant, but other than that, I didn't know much about him. But it looks like those three will be going, which I actually think is the correct decision. And as a result of that, we're going to be having new coaches coming in. 2 new coaches. Ruud van Nistelrooy apparently is on the brink of becoming the Manchester United assistant manager. And alongside him will be Rene Hake. Probably said his name wrong. He's currently the manager of Go Ahead Eagles in the Eredivisie. I watched a couple of videos about this guy, and he seems like the real deal. I saw a video earlier on Twitter, right, of him in the dressing room, and I think it's at half time, and he's not happy with his players, and he is absolutely nailing them. He's saying, you know, he's not holding back. He's going in on them, and I thought that's exactly what these Manchester United players need. They think they're better than they are. Their egos are huge. We need someone to come in who's like, I don't care. I'm just going to tell them straight. And I think he is that person to do this. Some people are upset about this. Some people are saying, you know, before we know it, it's going to be Netherlands FC. Some people are upset that this Rene Hake guy has the same agent as Erik ten Hag. It's the same agency as Rasmus Højlund, the same agency as Malacia, I think. And apparently Erik ten Hag's son works for this agency. Some people seem to say that this agency is taking over Manchester United. I just think it's a little bit embarrassing, to be honest. Like, we're going from Steve McLaren, who, let's be honest, is a bit of a dinosaur of the game, isn't he? And we're going from him to somebody who is doing really well in the Eredivisie. He got Go Ahead Eagles, who are usually a pretty rubbish team in the Eredivisie. He got them into Europe. And then we're also getting Ruud van Nistelrooy, who, from a footballing perspective, is a legend of Manchester United, but from a coaching perspective, is also really, really established. You know, he did really well at PSV, worked his way up through the youth system at PSV. So yeah, I've got no issues with this whatsoever. I think this is good. I think it shows that Ineos are really holding their own stamp on the game. But it'll be interesting to see what you guys think about all of this. Let me know in the comment section. But yeah, just to round off on the Erik ten Hag news. So apparently Erik ten Hag will get a 3-year contract, which I think is the correct decision. At the moment, he's got a 2-year deal. He's got 1 year left plus the option of an extra year. And then the deal is going to be worth around £27 million. So it'll be £27 million over 3 years. That's not that bad, is it? What's that? 9, 18, 27. Yeah, it's £9 million a year, which I think is about what he's earning anyway at the moment. So we're giving him a pay rise. He's getting the same money he was getting before. And we're effectively just giving him a little bit extra time. So I've got no issue with that whatsoever. It works out about 150k a week. I've just had a look. So £27 million deal across 3 years. Obviously, the only issue we have here is if we decide to sack Erik ten Hag after 2 months, we'll have to give him £27 million, which is a lot of money. A hell of a lot of money. So I just hope and pray that Ineos see this as... I just hope and pray that they see this as a project and they see this as a long-term plan now, because £27 million is a hell of a lot of money. And you need to back the manager now. You need to get the right players in, get the right players leaving, and bring in the right people around him. So I just want to run through what the new kind of structure will look like for those of you who are interested. So Jim Ratcliffe was obviously the co-owner. Sir Dave Brailsford will be on the board. Omar Barada will be the CEO. Dan Ashworth will be the sporting director. Jason Wilcox will be the technical director. And Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Hake will be the 2 assistant managers alongside Erik ten Hag. Apparently also we're going to be getting new fitness coaches in, which I think is really important. Erik ten Hag wasn't able to bring his fitness coaches with him from Ajax, which was apparently part of the reason why people think he struggled this season, because of because of not effectively having a good, solid fitness team around him. And I actually somewhat agree with that. Let's see what people are saying in the comment section quickly. Everyone who's just joined, we've got 500 people watching live now, which is absolutely amazing. Big ups to all of you. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Let's try and hit 200 likes on this evening's show. We're very close to that. And also make sure you subscribe as well. I think we're only a couple of subscribers away from 24,300. So if you're not subscribed, please go and do that really, really quickly. I'm live every single day at 8:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. So make sure you get involved here on Daily Red Devil. Okay. So we've talked about Sancho. We've talked about Ten Hag. We will talk about Marcus Rashford in a minute. I'm just going to read out a couple of your comments. Somebody says, who would you sign if we sold Rashford? We'll talk about that in a minute. No problem. Lots of people are talking about Marseille. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's move on from that then. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford then. So the news this evening is that apparently Manchester United are ready to part ways with Marcus Rashford. It says the club is not happy surrounding the disciplinary issues about Marcus Rashford. So obviously we're talking about the Belfast incident, going out getting drunk. We're talking about his attitude on the pitch. There's so many things that have caused red flags with Marcus Rashford this season, right? And as a result of this, apparently Manchester United are now looking to, maybe not they're looking to sell him, but they would sell him if the right offer came in. So we've got another story here coming out from Alex Crook, who reports for TalkSport, saying PSG are now considering putting in a bid for Marcus Rashford. It says the French side could step up their interest if they receive encouragement from Rashford that he was open to the move. Now, obviously we know last summer PSG were desperate to sign Marcus Rashford. He didn't end up going in the end. He ended up staying and getting a new contract. But they want to come back in for him. We know that PSG are looking for a new superstar to fill Mbappe's boots. Now, is Marcus Rashford on the level of Mbappe? No, obviously not. But does he play on the left wing? Is he a big name player? Yes, I think he is. I think he would go to PSG and I think he'd do really well. Let's be honest, right? The French league is much lower quality than the Premier League. So Marcus Rashford going off to PSG, he'd be a superstar. He already is a superstar, but he'd be an even bigger superstar. He'd go there, he'd play Champions League football, and it would be a new start for him. It would be a fresh start. And the question I've got for you all today is, would you sell Marcus Rashford this summer? Let me know in the comment section. It'd be good. You can give me some context, Let me know your thoughts. Would you like to sell Marcus Rashford this summer? And if you did want to sell him, who would you bring in as his replacement? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. My stance on Rashford has been this. I think Rashford is a good player. I like him. But I just worry about his mentality, about his happiness, about his mental state. He doesn't seem to have the right attitude. I honestly think the best thing for Marcus Rashford would be for him to move to a new club, a fresh start. But that's my take on it. I know he's come through the youth academy. I know he's born and bred in Manchester and all the rest of it. Like, all of that's great. But he clearly doesn't seem happy at Manchester United. He doesn't seem like he's enjoying his football at all. He probably doesn't like all of the criticism he gets. He doesn't like all of the negativity, which is fine. I get it. It's difficult. But you're going to get that when you play for Manchester United. Whereas I think at PSG, obviously you'd get that a bit, but it's not going to be on the level of Man United, I don't think. So I personally think, if a big bid came in for Marcus Rashford, I'm talking at least 60 million, 60 to 100 million, somewhere in that region, I would sell him personally. One of the main reasons for that is what I just said about his, not seeming happy, his mental state, but also it would really help our profit and sustainability because he would count as 100% profit because obviously he came through the youth academy, didn't he? So yeah, I personally would move him on, but I will say this, Marcus Rashford, when he's in form, is one of the best left wingers in the world. Genuinely, I think he's on the level of, the Rafael Leao's, maybe not the Vinnies, but, he's up there with one of the best left wingers in the world. But the problem with him is he's only in form probably like 1 or 2 games a season, last season anyway, I know the season before that he did really well, but the difficulty for Manchester United is effectively either they find out how to make Marcus Rashford happy again or they sell him. That's the reality, There's no, keeping him unhappy is pointless. If he's going to continue playing the way he is, if he's going to, not put in the effort, if he's going to sulk and all the rest of it, Like, it's completely pointless keeping him. So let's have a look at the results of the poll. I've asked a simple question. Would you sell Marcus Rashford this summer? 84% of people watching the show today have said yes, they will, and they would, and 16% of people said they wouldn't. Yeah, I would agree, but I've obviously given my reasons there below. So moving on to the bit about the Saudi club. Apparently, so this is the news that's coming out this evening. This is coming from multiple journalists. They're saying that Saudi Pro League club Al Ittihad are expected to make a bid for Marcus Rashford very soon. It says Rashford is one of the main targets for the Saudi Pro League. Now, could I see Marcus Rashford going to the Saudi League? I personally think it's unlikely, being completely honest with you. If there's a chance for him to go to PSG, why would he go to the Saudi League? He could go to PSG at the age of 26, probably goes there, does really well, and within a year or two, he'll be back in the England squad. People would be saying he's one of the best left wingers in the world again. Whereas if you go to the Saudi League, I'm sorry, you're pretty much forgotten. Like, even Cristiano Ronaldo, he's gone there and scored, 40 goals in a season, and nobody takes it seriously. Like, when was the last time you heard someone talk about a player from the Saudi League and be like, oh, this player's doing so well? Like, it just doesn't happen because everybody goes there to as effectively as a retirement home or to make money. And I don't think Marcus Rashford's in that place yet. He earns 350k a week already at Man United. You know, he makes probably millions of pounds off all the books he's written, all of his investments. You know, he's got loads of properties and all sorts. He's a very shrewd businessman, Marcus Rashford. The point I'm trying to make here is he doesn't need to move to Saudi. He's already probably richer than he ever thought he would be. And I think most people, I know Cristiano Ronaldo went there, but Cristiano Ronaldo's earning absolutely mad money. Romano says, I thought they wanted Garnacho. Yeah, apparently they do. Apparently they do. The thing is with the Saudi League, right, that you have to remember, okay? The Saudi League want to make their league the best league in the world, okay? So they're going to continually be linked to all of the best players in the world. Whether or not they'll actually go there is a whole nother conversation. Probably not. Will Rashford go there? Probably not. Will Garnacho go there? Definitely not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Marcus Rashford. I honestly don't know what will happen with him, being completely honest. I don't. I honestly do think it would be better. I honestly do think it would be better if we moved him on, but yeah. Somebody says, what are the chances of getting Kvaratskhelia from Napoli? Probably very small, to be honest with you, mate. Nigel says, I think Marcus would like Paris. Yeah, I'm sure he would, mate. Paris is an amazing place. Obviously, Manchester's cool as well, but yeah. Okay, so that's the latest on Marcus Rashford. We've spoken about Ruud van Nistelrooy. Let's talk about Mason Greenwood then quickly. So this is coming out from David Ornstein, and he is reporting that Marseille are exploring a deal to sign Mason Greenwood. It says talks between Marseille and Manchester United are now happening. He says finances are yet to be discussed. It goes on to say that Greenwood favours a move to Marseille over other clubs. I don't really understand that. Like, why does he want to move to Marseille so badly? I don't know. If anybody can work out why that is, I honestly can't work it out. Is it, I mean, where are Marseille in the Champions League? Let me have a quick look. Because it did kind of surprise me. Obviously, David Ornstein's a very, very reliable journalist. He doesn't put out... Yeah, I mean, Marseille finished 8th in the league last season. Are they even in the Europa League? No. Really strange, to be honest. Probably one of the strangest stories I've seen today. So Mason Greenwood, this is coming up from David Ornstein, probably the most reliable journalist in world football at the moment, saying that Mason Greenwood wants to move to Marseille. That's his priority. When he's had offers from Juventus, Getafe, Napoli, Lazio, all of these other top clubs, but he wants to move to Marseille, who aren't even in the Europa League or the Conference League. Now, is that because maybe they're a smaller club? He can go there and be under the radar a bit? Maybe it's because he wants to play under De Zerbi. There was a story that came out earlier on today, right? And I'm trying to get a bit more clarity on this. But, so take this with a pinch of salt, okay? This was what someone told me earlier on today. That apparently Roberto De Zerbi, when he spoke to Ineos, said that part of the conditions if he was to take the Man United job was that he wanted Mason Greenwood to come back. That's what somebody told me earlier on today, okay? So maybe this is why Mason Greenwood is desperate to move to Marseille. Because I can't think of any other reason. Obviously, Roberto De Zerbi is the new Marseille manager, isn't he? So it's really strange. I'll be honest with you. Really, really strange. But yeah, if anybody else has any other theories on this, obviously feel free to let me know in the comment section. Yeah, it's strange. I don't get it. That's the only link I can find. Mark says Marseille is a top club. What, you think Marseille's better than Juventus or Napoli? I don't think so. And they're not even in the Europa League either, or the Conference League. I don't know. It's a strange one. When I saw this story be broke by David Ornstein, who, as I said, is a very reliable journalist. He doesn't put out fake stories. I'm just going to read the whole thing here and just see if I can. Yeah, it says Greenwood is a player Marseille are keen to recruit. They have held positive dialogue with Mason Greenwood, and he is believed to favour a move to Marseille over the other options available to him at this stage. I mean, can someone break that down for me? I don't get it. He could move to Napoli, move to Juventus, probably earn more money, play in the Champions League, but instead he wants to go and play for Marseille, who finished mid-table last season. I don't know. It's strange. And that's where this story came about Roberto De Zerbi. Very, very strange. But yeah, apparently Manchester United are looking for 40 million euros, which is 30 million pounds. I think this deal will happen. We've just got to hope that it happens soon so we can then go and use that money to buy other players. Because otherwise it's just like, you know, yeah, what do we do? Okay, let's move on to Joshua Zirkzee then quickly, shall we? So this is coming out from Sky Sports. Sky Sports are reporting this evening that Manchester United remain in positive talks with Joshua Zirkzee's agent. It says there is now optimism that a deal will be done for Joshua Zirkzee. It says Manchester United are prepared to pay the Dutchman's £33.8 million release clause. It also goes on to say that United are still in talks with PSG over the signing of midfielder Manuel Ugarte. United have a price in mind for him. If we get those two players, I will be honestly so happy. Joshua Zirkzee and Manuel Ugarte will improve our team massively. Manuel Ugarte walks into our midfield. Him, Kobe Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes would be unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Joshua Zirkzee is a completely different profile to Rasmus Højlund. I think he will really, really offer us a lot. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And I just really hope that both of these players are our first two signings, you know? Yeah, but let's have a look. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Richard says, I don't want Zirkzee, I want Guirassy. Mate, Guirassi's going to Dortmund. It's already been confirmed. Fabrizio's confirmed it. Fabrizio has confirmed that Guirassy is going to Dortmund. So we're not going to get Guirassy, unfortunately. I would have liked Guirassy as well, but I think Zirkzee for the future is going to be a quality player. I can't complain about it at all. So yeah, really, really happy about that. No Guirassy, he's not coming, mate. Definitely not. He's going to Dortmund. He's already doing his medical and stuff. So Zirkzee's the number one option. That is who we're going to have, whether we want him or not. I personally want him, but obviously if you want Guirassy, that's completely fine. Quickly on transfer budget. Apparently Manchester United, now this is going to upset some people, which is fine. It's a news show. Take some of it with a pinch of salt. This is coming out from The Times in the UK, which is a reliable outlet, saying that Manchester United only have about £50 million to spend and any other money will have to come from player sales. Now, that sounds terrible, of course, £50 million. But when you think we should get 30 million for Greenwood, 40 million for Sancho, that's 70. I would say 40 million for Casemiro. That's up to 110 million then. Plus the 50 million we've got, that's already 160 million, which is amazing. That's decent. You could get Ugarte, you could get Zirkzee, you could probably get a Branthwaite in there as well. Those are the three key positions we need realistically: a centre-back, a midfielder and a striker. And then any other deals will come based on players we sell. Obviously, we're not in the Champions League, and obviously, you know, that has a massive implication on our costs. Cesar says, do you think Mason Mount will have a big role in the team this season? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think Mason Mount is a decent player. I know he's had a lot of criticism. I know, people like to slag him off and say he was a terrible signing. But, we've got to get behind Mason Mount. We do. We've got to back him because he is a Manchester United player. He's on a 5 or 6 year contract. Nobody's going to buy him right now because, he was injured all season. But we're not going to, But yeah, let me know what everyone thinks anyway on all of that. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I will be back at 8:30 a.m. UK time tomorrow. Please do me a small favour before you go. Smash a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have an amazing evening, everybody. And I'll speak to you all at 8:30 a.m. UK time tomorrow. Bye for now.